You're watching Your Worst Friend, Going Deeper, Season 5. Today's guest, adult film star Katherine Knight. Here's your hosts, Matt and Shane.
You're watching YWF Going Deeper Season 5. I'm Matt, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Shane.
Hello.
Make sure you go to yourworstfriend.com for links to everything we do, and follow us on social media at WorstFriendCast. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by a very special guest. You might know her from such websites as Tushy and Anal Introductions, which I'm not familiar with, but it sounds like some sort of OCD blog. She's a Playboy Centerfold, an AVN nominee, and a two-time XBiz award winner. You can find her on Twitter and Instagram at xcatknightx and on OnlyFans at Katherine Knight. But check out everything she does at thekatherine.com. Ladies and gentlemen, join us in welcoming the spicy, the enticing Miss Katherine Knight.
Hey.
Hello.
Katherine,
Hello.
I am fascinated by your story. I always do research on our guests, which is not a clever excuse to get away from my wife to watch porn. I read all the interviews and this and that because I want to do the best job I can. Can you tell us how you got into the adult industry? And then I'm going to have a million questions for you.
Ooh. Okay, so I was in Chile. I'm from Chile. And I was doing modeling full time. And then with the pandemic and everything going on, I just started doing camming. I was doing like live shows on Chaturbate. And then I realized that every girl was linking their OnlyFans. So that's how I started. I became obsessed with shooting videos and taking selfies and nudes and all that stuff. And it became my career. Here I am.
So had you been very, I don't want to use the word promiscuous. That sounds like I'm in a church group. Sexual prior to getting into OnlyFans and chatting and this and that, Chaturbate, or was it just kind of like a step where you just went, fuck, I gotta do this, and maybe there were some nerves and stuff like that, or no?
So much fun. I was always curious. I was a very sexual person. I don't know what to say. I was just like so excited to try it.
So there was no anxiety or anything like that in it.
I mean, I'm an introvert, and I can be very shy, but I don't know. I just felt so confident to do that. I don't know. I'm just like very excited about it. So
sure. So prior to that, prior to the pandemic, prior to jumping on OnlyFans and everything, you were an actual like a model, right?
Yeah, fashion model.
Wow. Okay. That is a world that I don't think we've ever really explored on this show. What goes into being like a fashion model? Because I'll be honest with you, I've always looked at it like,
a lot comes out of your stomach.
It's these skinny chicks. It's like they walk back and forth and whatever. And my wife just constantly tells me, she's like, it's so much more than that. It's so much more difficult than that.
It is much more than that. I mean, it is a lot of traveling as well. I went to Asia twice. I was living in a model house. I was traveling by myself, promoting myself. The competition is insane, and also the standards are crazy. I mean, now it's much more healthy for me because, porn celebrates all body types, not like modeling. Modeling is like you're never good enough, never tall enough, never pretty enough. It's crazy. So my mental health has improved.
I think, I was going to ask what you were going to ask. Go ahead, Shane.
Well, I had a follow-up question off of that, but I think the first thing I was going to say, she kind of answered what was that criticism like? Were they like, what were they criticizing about you? I can't imagine,
Thank you. I don't know. Castings are just so much anxiety. Castings for commercial or whatever it is. Like there are so many beautiful girls from all over the world, and they're all super, super skinny. super beautiful, like young girls. It's just like, wow, every girl
And this is
insanely
like,
beautiful.
are you doing like business suits and bathing suits and commercials and runways? Like what
Yeah.
photo shoots, everything?
Yeah, everything. Runway shows. I'm still doing modeling sometimes. I actually just did Berlin Fashion Week. That was in August.
So when you're like, you saw when you're at like the height of like your modeling career, when you're working the most, like what goes into a typical day? Are you doing like multiple shoots or shows or
Lots of
engagements a day?
castings. When I was in China, I was doing around 11 castings a day. I was in a van with a lot of girls, like going all over the city to show up to castings, like with my portfolio and posting for the clients so that they would pick me.
That's like the best porn in the world, except it's not porn. Just a bus full or a van full of the hottest women in the world driving around. Open the door flings open and they're just in model pose.
Best
Like,
edge material, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But did you have a specialty when it came to modeling? Was there a certain thing you did, or is it a broad thing like this girl can do anything?
I was doing mostly pictures. I'm not like super, super tall, so pictures was my thing. I was doing commercials as well, but mostly magazine covers and editorials.
Okay. All right. Now this is not to denigrate anything in the industry. Did you we've all heard negative stories about modeling, and that's probably on a person by person or studio by studio or agent by agent basis. But did you come across, and I'm not asking for names here, did you come across any people who you were like, oh, this industry can be a little bit toxic, just in terms of or this person or whatever it is can be a little bit toxic in terms of like what they're demanding from us, how they're demanding it? Like you said, a model house, and I think of that and I associate like a camming model house, and I've heard horror stories on some of those. That's not all of them.
I think of America's Next Top Model.
How yeah, that's a good point too. I think of Bad Girls Club. You ever see that show?
Oh yeah, dude, that's a fucking awesome show.
So how toxic can it get behind the scenes?
Oh my God, it's bad. It's really bad. Like so much gossiping, and not only between models, like it's every person in the model industry, like photographers trashing other photographers or like looking at each other's work and comparing. It's bad. Everybody's so sassy and like I'm the best and like having this attitude, competing with each other instead of being like, wow, we're making art, which is sad.
Let me ask you a question. Are models rich? How do the top models make so much? I mean, like, what is it?
Crazy rich models, of course, like Victoria's Secret's models, like people that become very famous and like public figures.
But do they? I know, like the example people always use is Gisele Bündchen, but I believe she came from family money. How does like not in a shitty way? I believe that was her family money. How does a model become rich? Is it just, I assume,
or how do you just get by? Like how much work do you have to do to just make ends meet as a model, you know?
A lot. I never did that much, to be honest. And that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing it, because the rates were not good enough in Chile around 2020. It was fine to do it on my early 20s when I was 18 or 19. That was fine. But then I was like, well, I want to buy a house. I want to have a nice life, travel around and not depend on this. But yeah, most models do all this traveling, all these things to, I don't know, just have fun, like meet other people. It's not about the money. But yeah, my my motivation, my needs changed.
Okay, but from what I've read,
flight attendant.
It sounds, yeah, you could be a flight attendant and probably make just as much.
Yeah, probably.
Benefits too.
Yeah.
What I've read about you though is you seem like an incredibly motivated and driven person, but you like doing what you like doing, which almost in a way, I'm not saying we're the exact same person, because if you look at us, we're quite different, but a job I don't care about, I'm going to get it done, but it's kind of so far back in my mind that it'll just go on autopilot and get it done. And I was working on editing something last night. I was up till 6 a.m, just clicking, getting it done because I'm so engaged. I'm so into it. Now I want to lead that into the next thing. There's a negative perception sometimes about porn stars, right? Oh my God, they are just dumb women. They're bimbos. They're this and that. Can you please tell the audience what you were studying in school before you decided it was too boring for you? You were just like, fuck it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to study medicine. That was, I don't know why. I don't know what was I doing. Even my mom was like, thank you, when I stopped going. She was like, oh, well, yeah, we saw that coming.
I had an ex-girlfriend who went to nursing school. There was nothing more boring than those vocabulary tests. When it's just every fucking muscle, every bone. I don't need to know all that. Look at this guy. He's got a cough. It's the flu. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like to know the muscle names.
I was supposed to not have a life when I was studying, and I just couldn't do it.
Right.
I was having too much fun. I was like, no, fuck that.
But now, do you take that same drive that it even just takes drive and ambition to get to that point, though, right? To get to be able to qualify. Like, I can't walk in and go, hey, I'd like to be a doctor. Let's start doing the tests and everything else. And how has that carried on into your adult film career?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm obsessed with my job. I became a workaholic as soon as I started doing this. I mean, I'm just so passionate about it. Everything about it, from creating the content, from promoting it, from talking to fans, like all of it. It's just like so much fun. And yeah, I'm a very creative person, and I was able to integrate all the stuff that I learned from modeling to my career in porn. So yeah, it's so much fun.
What's something you brought over with you from modeling?
Well, the posing, how to look good on camera, how to do my makeup, professional, like amazing makeup artists were doing my makeup all the time for the magazines and stuff. So I was able to get all those tips and integrate them. And lighting for my videos. Sure. Yeah, using professional equipment, all that stuff.
Shane, anything?
Yeah, lighting's 90% of the fucking videos, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
I was gonna ask, what are your, like, you seem to be so passionate about it. What are your most favorite pieces to work on? Like, as far as content goes, like, do you have a niche you kind of fall into, or do you have something that you're focusing on specifically?
Yeah, I usually like boy-girl scenes. I like to have those passionate one-on-one sessions that are like very romantic, but also very rough. I love that, like good intimacy and passion in a scene.
Kissing and stuff, huh?
Kissing and stuff, yeah. That's what she's talking about. Yes. Kissing and stuff, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh boy, she's talking about the hot stuff now, all the kissing and such.
Well, dude, that's romantic, right? Is kissing?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of kissing and rough sex.
So you say, I assume you only work with the people you're comfortable working with, right? Okay. Sure. Yeah. And that, it seems like a dumb statement on top. And then every few weeks, you'll see a girl post something about someone that did something bad and this and that and whatever else. When you say rough, does your partners, whoever, do they know how far to push it? And have you ever been in a case where you need to, you're turning blue and you have to kind of give a wink like, hey, you can stop now?
Yeah, that's why we have boundary checklist before we start every scene. We go through every single thing, like slapping, choking, pulling hair, like whatever it is.
Kissing.
We check what we feel comfortable with. What did you say?
He said kissing.
Yeah, kissing. No, for real. Yeah, we go through that as well. And all the little details, like lights, so choking or like very rough. Yeah.
Where are you on a scale of 1 to 10 on the choking?
10.
10.
Oh
Okay.
boy.
Yeah.
I feel like if you get to
I like
10,
it,
you don't get to decide that. I feel like someone else chooses 10 for you.
Oh my God.
That's a good line.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a very high pain tolerance. Yeah, I
Just got a
like
steel
it
neck.
when I'm shooting. Like it keeps me very like present in the scene. Otherwise, I go like my mind goes somewhere else.
Oh, you get that bored look on your face if someone's
Yeah,
not
it's like,
beating
no,
it up.
it's getting boring. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
like a nice slap to bring me back to earth.
Sure.
I've seen that before.
Is there now I think you disclose on your Twitter or wherever where you're located, not your exact location. That would be weird.
That'd be creepy.
If it weren't for something now you're in Budapest, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If it weren't for things like OnlyFans, would you have to be in one of the major hubs? Do you think? Like in LA? If it weren't for self-produced content that you have, would you have to, if you wanted to continue this career, live in one of the major hubs like LA or
okay.
Vegas?
Well, that's the main reason why I moved here, because in Europe, all the porn is made in Budapest, basically. Yeah, this is like the capital of porn here.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Me
So,
either.
do they have
I thought it was just made in a basement somewhere in Europe.
Nope. It's
Yeah.
Budapest. And also Prague and Barcelona. I'm going there next week. And also some porn in the UK, like Brazzers.
So how are Brazzers shoots out of the UK? I guess that makes sense actually. Now that I think so, yeah. I guess they just have laws that allow that there. It's not like you're shooting this in Saudi Arabia or something like that. But I mean, is there certain laws you have to abide by that are different than the US ones, or is it you abiding by the laws of the website? Like you have to have people sign off and this and that.
It's like the same contract, pretty much.
Okay, cool. Interesting. So we do a little game on this show. It's called SAC. Okay. Now I will explain to you how we got to the name SAC. It stands for Shit, Animals, Kids. Okay. We would ask girls early on, what is something you would never do in the industry? And inevitably, one of them would say, like, well, I wouldn't fuck an animal. And we're like, yeah, we know. I wouldn't be talking to you if you would fuck an animal. I wouldn't fuck a kid. Don't cut that clip out. Or do cut that clip out. And we would have an understanding. Yes, we understand. So eliminating shit, animals, and kids out of the equation altogether. What is something that you would never do on film because it just has no interest to you? And then the inverse of that, what is something that you love so much that if you were given the opportunity to shoot more of this scene, not with you, maybe with somebody you really wanted to shoot with, or, you a site you really wanted to shoot with because you love the way they did it. What is something you would almost take a quote unquote discount to do? Meaning maybe it doesn't hit your current rate, but this is too good of an opportunity to turn down.
Okay. Interesting.
If you say an animal, I just have to leave. Like I explained it in too much detail there. So
okay. Should we just go?
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. We're just talking.
Okay. So something I would never do. Scat content with someone else.
Damn!
Oh my God! That we said no shit.
I said no shit, no scat. We know those. Oh no.
We know you're not going to do shit.
You're a doctor. You can't get that wrong. Yeah, don't say animals now either. Those are eliminated. Those are out of the equation altogether.
Maybe she's just saying everything else is on the table.
Oh, okay. What?
I mean, she's a 10 on the choke meter, you
know. Okay, all right. How about like a gangbang? Have you ever had a gangbang? Would you ever do a gangbang? Anything like that?
I would do it.
Okay, all right.
Right now, but
okay,
yes.
Okay, all right. What about like a bukkake scene?
I would do it.
Okay. All right. So what is something you would not do that does not fall into the scat animal? I should start saying scat instead of shit.
I think I would not do like a crazy pissing scene.
Aww.
Like a girl pissing. It's fine. I've done it actually.
Mm-hmm.
But a group of men pissing on my face, I think it's just too degrading for me. It's just not my style.
You broke Shane's heart on that one. Yeah, off camera.
It's just not the style of my content or my persona.
So that's very important to you, the brand you put out there then.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Curating the image, yeah.
There are some girls who and have you curated this brand of, again, classy model, or is it because there are some girls who are just gross and I love them.
I love them too.
who jump into those personas and they're like, hey, I'm running with it. And you know what? It's not a negative either way. I don't feel like. For me, it's like the same thing.
It's just about branding. It's just about what you want to do online and the type of fans that you want to bring to your
attract.
content.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. Okay. And what is something, the inverse of that, where if, the opportunity came along either to work with a person or a site or a type of scene, a genre of scene, and you're at this number and they come in, not this number, but, slightly less. Where are you going? Yeah, deal. We'll take that.
Oh, okay. Well, that would be maybe my favorite production ever. That's Deeper. From Big C Media. I love how everything looks. It's just so professional, so cinematic as well. The stories are so good. The tension that they build before the sex scenes, just it's so good. It's so artsy. I love it.
The lighting on their still photos is fucking.
And they also do very, very like BDSM stuff. Like rope play, I don't know, like very crazy stuff, but they make it look good and elegant.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about them.
Are you into bondage and stuff like that or no? Yeah. Most girls are, it feels like.
Yeah, it's strange because I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not into it. Like, I mean, really? I would do. No, especially now in the society we're growing up in, I don't want to tie you up. I don't know what you're going to say. I don't want to do anything wrong. Obviously, you're a 10 out of 10 on the choke meter, but, I don't know about the other stuff.
Yeah, you're not going to say anything after we choke each other, but who knows where you fall on the rope meter.
Where are you on the rope meter first, 1 to 10?
I don't know. I haven't had enough experiences.
Okay.
I have a friend that's gonna tie me up in Paris. I'm excited for that.
Okay. All right.
The problem with bondage, I think, is that it's like getting into a new hobby, like model airplanes.
Yeah.
It's a big investment, It's like you have to make up your mind that this is the hobby you want to have before you make the initial investment to like purchase the airplane and the repair kit and the software and the training course and all this shit, You have
to learn about the different parts of the airplane, what specific type of glue you need to use. Right. This paint lasts. Oh, yeah. I've never really thought of that. It's not just a money investment, which it is, but it's also so much bandwidth goes into having to learn about it if you want to do it correctly. Now, you can half-ass it, but then you end up accidentally hanging your chick, and that's not a good situation at all.
Yeah, you take her to an 11 on the rope scale.
Next thing you know, she's in a trunk and you're driving off a bridge to end it all. So,
how are you on the drowning meter?
Oh my God. I don't want to know.
So, when did you first start watching porn? When was like your first introduction that like, oh shit, this is a thing?
It was actually when I was little. I was at a friend's birthday party. I don't remember when it was, but I was very little because I didn't understand what I was watching.
Sure.
Thought someone was being
remember
killed.
that it was like a lesbian scene in a farm. It was a very old porn movie.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So, I mean, that obviously ignites it. But then did you watch porn in your teens and early 20s and this and that? Did you have favorite performers at all? Or were you not a 400-pound man in his mother's basement? Because those are the guys who really have favorite performers. I have a top 10 list if you need them.
Okay. Not really. I wasn't into porn. I mean, I watched some when I was alone at home, but I was not like crazy about it. My imagination was enough.
This is the difference between a doctor and a podcaster, by the way. No, I wasn't obsessed with porn. Meanwhile, I'm begging to get this girl on my show.
It
Well,
can be both.
Yeah. I watched a lot of porn when I was about like 18, 19, when I went to uni, actually, when I was living alone. I had a lot of time to be alone and watch porn instead of studying. So yeah, and that was it. It was like a year or two, and then not anymore. I wasn't into it.
Gotcha. Are there stars that you currently would love to work with? Do you have a short list of people where you're like, I would, or is it just whatever makes the best scene?
I have some favorites that I want to work with. Joslyn Love joined mainstream again. He was retired, I think, but he's back, so I want to fuck him. And Damon Dice, I met him at Expo Amsterdam last week, and he's my new crush. And who else? I don't know. Most of the girls in the US are insanely gorgeous. So yeah.
Some of them are just insane too, which is great.
Alexis
also.
Tay.
It's a nice overlap. Yeah.
What was that name? I'm sorry.
Alexis Tay.
Oh, okay. Alexis Tay. Yep. She's great.
I think she'd look great paired up with former multiple time guest, Kat Karma Orgasmic.
That's true. Kat is primarily a OnlyFans model, is a performer that we have interviewed multiple times. She's a good friend of ours. And she, that leads into great conversation. I think that's great. She has done a couple mainstream scenes, but she doesn't prefer it. She likes having total control over her content. She likes doing OnlyFans. She sets everything else up with her husband. They both had to quit their jobs because they were losing money by not being able to spend more time cutting clips and everything else. Imagine how great of a feeling that is. I will get there someday. No, I probably won't.
Got to start showing your dick on the show.
Okay.
Hey, take a look at this, everyone. Ew, gross. Unsubscribe. So as I go through your Twitter, man, you really just push hard your OnlyFans, the content you make. I was going through just because I wanted to write that stupid little intro. I was like, who has she worked with recently? Mainstream name, so I could throw a name out there. And I was looking through your Twitter. I go, well, that's a very professional looking thing. That's her OnlyFans. That's a very professional look. That's her OnlyFans. You really put a lot of time and dedication into your content, huh?
I love it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love creating my content. I do content trips all the time. Yeah.
And that's what, just traveling to another country to shoot with someone else? Or
I'm going to Sardinia next month. I'm organizing this thing. We have around 12 performers from all over the world traveling to Sardinia to shoot porn for a full week.
Now, is that multiple scenes, or is that just one awesome 12-person scene with one guy who's the luckiest person?
On a content trip, it's like I do between 2 and 5 scenes per day.
Per day. Okay. So is it a lot like a band going on tour where it's like, okay, I got 2 weeks, so I'm gonna be in, Prague for 3 days, and then I'll be in Barcelona for 3 days, and like, is that how you block out a trip, or do you just park yourself somewhere
That's my
for a
life.
while?
Yeah, like,
Really?
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I was in Amsterdam shooting and doing expos, and now I'm here. I'm shooting tomorrow. Then I'm going to Barcelona. Then I'm going to Paris. I'm gonna be in Berlin as well, and then Sardinia, and then who knows?
So you like travel, obviously, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
that
I
was like
fucking
the main
hate
thing I was
travel.
missing from modeling, and I was able to continue doing this. So it's amazing.
You could be a doctor and travel, can't you? You show up at someone's house and be like, let me take your temperature, take this COVID test.
Yeah,
No, fuck that.
what is that called? That's called house calls, right? That
Yeah.
that used to be standard practice for doctors. Bring it
I mean,
back.
imagine living in some little hillbilly town and this beautiful Chilean woman comes and she goes, hi, I'm your doctor. And you're just like, well, I'm feeling healthy. Also, something's wrong with my penis. Can you take a look at it, please?
Also, where do you fall on the choking scale?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Uh, um, so let me ask you, in those times, is everything just 100? So, okay, we're in slight disagreement. I do love well-produced, high-quality stuff, but I also like stuff that's a little bit grimy. Like it looks like maybe your partner in the scene busted out his cell phone and just started kind of watching you go to work.
Or like your brother set the camera up before you came home.
Brother.
Bro.
Oh no, your brother's not taking part. He's just watching.
He's just the cameraman. Okay, fair enough.
Oh my God.
So let me ask, when you're in a situation like you're shooting content overseas like that, or in any kind of travel, sorry, overseas, we're overseas technically, any kind of travel or anything like that, is it the set amount of scenes, but do you ever, because what I would personally do is, as a guy, obviously, if I was working with you, I'd try and grab every chance I could. But do you ever just like shoot out some like quick scenes, like, hey, we're doing this, make it a 2-minute quickie type video, and that way you can just throw extra content up there? Or is it just, are you like a major site? Is your OnlyFans basically like a major site, like every week, every 2 weeks, whatever it is, boom, this is your new video?
I tend to do just like very professional scenes, even if it is my content.
Sure.
I'm a perfectionist. I cannot just do whatever. But yeah, I do some iPhone stuff sometimes if I don't have any other option. If my camera guy is not available, or if I'm somewhere else and that's all we have. Yeah, depends.
Sure.
So.
What's your crew look like? Do you have, I mean, do you do your makeup? You said.
Yeah, I do my makeup.
Do you do, I mean, you said your camera guy. So do you have a specific camera person?
It's always the same camera person.
Okay. And is it just you and that camera person? Is there another person, a scheduler, anything like that?
When it's collabs, obviously I have to,
Sure.
It's a collaboration. So I have to ask the other performers as well if they feel comfortable with my camera person, or if they have one, or if they have a photographer that wants to join for, say, for work pictures before we start, or whatever it is. Like every person in the industry has their, practices, how they work, how they do it. So it depends.
Have you ever been in I want to talk about the back end of it as well, but have you ever been in a situation where you're doing a collab with someone and they go like, let's use my camera guy, and you see the footage afterwards and you're like, oh, this is dog shit. Like this looks, yes. Yeah. And then what do you do with that? Do you just,
or if they suggest their place and it's just a mess everywhere. I'm like, why did I come here? Just roll with it.
Catherine, you seem to have very high standards. Now, what a lot of people would say is that's to be expected from a beautiful former model, could have been doctor. But what I'd like to say is, let's get a little more iPhone video with Cheetos bags in the background. You know, let's see a little bit more of the grime. Okay.
Yeah, I actually have to integrate that into my content. I know. I think
The clothes don't have to be dirty. Just throw them in the basket.
Yeah, you have to trash it up a little. No, I think you're doing
no,
fine.
but seriously, I feel like OnlyFans has to be a little more amateur. So yeah, I'm gonna keep my Manovits like very professional, high-end videos, like very nice videos. And yeah, I want to do more iPhone stuff for my OnlyFans.
Okay. I think that, I mean, there is a more personal level to it. I'm not saying I prefer it. I was joking, but like there's a more personal level.
I feel it from my fans as well. So
Sure.
it's nice to hear it. Yeah.
Sure. It's a good aesthetic, and it's like it's like the thing, right? Like every couple generations or every generation, there's like a longing for what came before. When we were kids, people were nostalgic for the 80s. And it's like now cameras and phones and everything, like this shit looks so, like my phone shoots in 4K, it looks so good. It does add like a kind of nostalgic, kind of more intimate feel to, not have a professional light job every time, or maybe you're off center or whatever. Yeah, like that probably makes it feel more connected to the fans too.
Oh, totally.
There's a little bit, as ridiculous as it sounds, as because with porn we can trick our minds into things. There's also somewhat of a taboo thing. Like if I see Catherine and she's in this beautiful set and whatever and having sex, whatever, if she's blowing a guy on an iPhone, I look at that and I'm like, ooh, maybe I'm not supposed to be seeing this right now.
Yeah.
Maybe this was like, and you know what? Actually,
I got this. Yeah.
As I say it, it's kind of toxic. It's kind of gross. Like, oh, that's maybe her private stuff. Maybe I shouldn't be digging into that. Now I'm gonna watch it. Sorry, I'm a bad person. But now we talked about it too. The back end. Is the editing just your camera guy as well, or do you have someone separate for that? Because that is such a big part.
We do it together. Yeah. I'm very controlling.
Okay.
So I have to be there. I have to see what's going on with it and where to cut, where to do a transition, or the music as well for the teasers.
Okay, makes sense.
Do all your videos end with a title card written, produced, directed, edited by Catherine Knight?
No.
Writers Guild of America, screenwriter, Directors Guild of America.
SAG approved,
Let me what is the number one thing your fans want more of on OnlyFans?
My orgies are selling very well.
Okay.
And also BBC.
Okay.
I feel like that's everybody's favorite.
Sure.
Mine,
What are what's the makeup of your orgies here?
My makeup
is it not your actual makeup? Like, what is the structure? Is it 2 girls, 3 girls, 5 guys, 12 guys, 75 guys? Okay.
I've done all girl orgies, 4 girl orgies with like 3 male performers, 5 girls. Yeah.
Okay.
Any girl we can find, any guy we can find on that day.
Hey, go downstairs. That's that guy in the lobby.
Yeah. He had a pretty big bulge. Yeah, bring him up here. I saw you put an article out, I believe, right, about what girls can. So you are, I mean, she is, I even know I've reiterated this 25 times already, but she is such a professional when it comes to this stuff. There was an article I read, was it XBiz maybe, about the top 10 tips. We have a lot of new performers who listen to our show, a lot of new female performers. We do a side show called Brand New Faces where we introduce OnlyFans girls with a couple hundred followers or this and that. What are like the 2 or 3 top biggest things? Say I'm a hot girl. I know it's hard to imagine. Say I'm some pretty girl and I want to jump into this industry, right? And I know we've already gotten past like it'll be online forever. You have to accept that. We understand.
Made your account. You're ready to post.
I'm ready to start posting. What are like the top 3 biggest tips that will lead to success down the line?
Okay, so first I would say advocate for yourself. You don't have to say yes to everything. Just make sure you're comfortable and do whatever you want to do at the right time. Don't pressure yourself. And two, promote yourself like crazy in every platform you can, because that's how you're gonna attract your fan base. And three, be professional. Yeah, that's something that some people are lacking these days.
Sure.
Yeah, make sure to follow the standards of the industry.
I've asked this before, and we haven't asked it in a while, but who do you think is more successful in today's world? A 10 out of 10, not on the choke meter, but on the looks meter. A 10 out of 10 who doesn't really love social media, she'll post and whatever. Or a 6 out of 10 who just knows all the algorithms and knows how to trend and knows how to get in there. It's got to be the 6, right?
Yeah.
Has to be.
The marketing, yeah, about promoting yourself and bringing numbers.
Sure. Yeah. What is something that your fans want more of that you're not interested in shooting more scenes of? Like, do you get comments for like, hey, do more of this? And you're like, oh, I don't want to do more of that.
More piss orgies.
Yeah, do more piss orgies.
Yeah, no piss orgies. No legal porno. Oh, yeah, that's a production from Prague that I don't want to do. And they keep tagging me. It's like, I don't want to do it. No.
Now, well, let me pause you there. What goes into your decision? Because I've seen people shoot with them and they love them. I've seen people shoot with them and they don't like them. What goes into your decision to not shoot with a certain major company? Because you have done certain. Is it just production value? Is it a history? Maybe you know people who didn't have a great time with them. What goes into that?
Yeah, I mean, it goes. It depends, but sometimes some people have had bad experiences. There's also directors that should not be working anymore because they have raped people in the past, or there is crazy shit happening behind the scenes. So yeah, I'm mindful of that. And if they don't have the aesthetic that I like, or if they are too degrading, that's something that I don't want to do.
You all right, so I'm not going to use names here and stuff like that, but I just want to ask this question here. How do you deal with a cancellation, if you will, when the industry goes to cancel somebody? And maybe you haven't been in this situation. I hope you haven't, but I was going through Twitter the last few days. Again, it seems like we had a bit of a cancellation, a previous, rebranding of a cancellation, which I think is totally fine. I think women should speak out and express themselves. What would happen, though, if somebody that you worked with, that you were very close with or whatever else, and you had never had a bad experience with that person, then other allegations and other things started coming out? Are you one to maybe do not get vocal about it online, or are you one to ask that person, hey, what is the situation with this? Because it's weird whenever you see these, and you see them every few months, there's some people who are like, this awful thing happened with me. But then the other side is some women go, I've never had a bad experience with that guy. Never a bad one at all. It's always been good. Then the women who had bad experiences start attacking those women, and it's just a bad situation. So how would you deal with a cancellation?
The thing about abusers and rapists and that kind of people is that they're very charming. They have skills. So obviously they do not abuse every person they encounter. So if they are close friends with me, or if we have a nice relationship, that's probably because they depend on me because of fame or like numbers or whatever it is. Those people know who to be with and who to fuck to fuck it, like for real. So I would listen to the victims, obviously. I would get informed, and I would confront my friend and see how they react.
Sure.
They're usually in denial, complete denial, though. So it's a really tough situation.
I think that's totally fair. I think that's the right way to go about it, rather than just jumping on the bandwagon and going like, I've worked with this guy, fuck him though, because blah, blah. Ask him. I think we need a lot more of that. And if you were close with the girl, maybe ask them as well, like, what was the situation? You never know.
And also, sometimes people are not aware that they did something wrong. So it's nice to have a conversation at least.
Let me pivot off that real quick and say, I agree with you. Some people don't even realize they did something wrong. We need to do women in the industry. This is not me coming down on all women in the industry. Everyone needs to do a better job, I feel, of pointing it out in the moment, because the worst thing would be if, we're done with this interview and I'm like, wow, that went great. And then 2 weeks from now, you're online going, fuck those guys. They made fun of my choke meter. Okay. In the moment, tell me, hey, I'd rather not talk about my choke meter because it's really only a 9, but I'm trying to, hype it up for the internet and make it a 10. Shane, do you have any other? I got one left in the chamber, but I don't want to cut you off.
I just wanted to, Matt showed me this video once. I don't remember who the performer was or anything. It was just like this extreme performance where a performer willingly, it was all consensual, but she just got the shit punched out of her ribs. So where do you fall on the punching in the ribs meter?
Wow.
I mean, like, how rough is that?
That is not happening.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right.
Yeah, that is not happening. No. The problem with that is that some performers don't even check. They're like, are you okay with a rough scene? And they think that's it. That's not enough. I mean,
oh, no. In this scene, she definitely said, punch me in the ribs. She asked for it, but, I wasn't sure if you were into that kind of rough stuff.
No, not really.
We're an anti-punching in the ribs podcast is our thing. We don't think women should get punched in the ribs for anything unless they're in a boxing match. You said before you were shooting custom content for your OnlyFans, which you can find at Catherine Knight. At Catherine Knight. Remember, everyone watching this, listening to this, links to everything are in the description below. So make sure you support her. We always talk about, sign up for their OnlyFans. We mean it. They're performers. They're putting this stuff out there for a reason. Pay for it.
Artists.
Pay for it. What kind of custom content are you known for shooting? Like, what is the one where they're like, you get 100 requests in a day and 75 of them, you're like, they want this?
Yeah, jerk off instructions. They love that. They love hearing me talk.
Which is, it's always a weird concept to me because, like, I know how to, like, I'm aware of how to jerk off. But hey, thanks to the pretty women out there for reminding me.
It's more about being coached on, I think, right?
I guess. Yeah. They want you to coach them through this, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
maybe
right.
it's like they've been conditioned or taught, raised to think like it's bad, they shouldn't do that. And so having a helpful female voice encourage them, tell them it's okay. Like, it's all right, spill your seed. It's not a sin, like it makes it come out.
Yep.
The beautiful today we had on with us the beautiful Catherine Knight. She is not just one of the hottest girls in porn right now. She is a high achiever. She shoots incredible content. She could have been a doctor, but she said that shit's boring. She had an entire career as an actual model. So if you're gonna go follow someone, it might as well be Catherine here. You can follow her on Twitter and Instagram at xcatknightx. And remember, go to OnlyFans, pay for your content at Catherine Knight. If you want links to everything, because you're not a good listener and you didn't hear me finish saying what I was going to say, go to thecatherineknight.com. Links to everything in the description. Catherine, thank you very much for coming on with us tonight.
Yes, thank you for having me.
For Your Worst Friend, I'm Matt.
I'm Shane.
Thanks for listening, watching. We'll see you again next week.